know we have their stuff. Maybe we sell it back. Shake them down.
Are they like wanted or something?
Oh no, they're not in trouble at all.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2024 comedy Drive Away Dolls. The film is co-written and directed by Ethan Coen and it stars Margaret Qualley, Geraldine Visvanthian, and we have appearances by Pedro Pascal, of course we do, he's in everything these days, and Matt Damon. Right, the film focuses on two characters, Jamie and Marion, who are friends. They are lesbians and they are not happy with their lives currently. You've got these two people who are polar opposites, really. You've got Jamie, played by Margaret Qualley, who's very outgoing, quite promiscuous, and then you've got Geraldine Visvanthian's character, Marion, who is very much the introvert and quite sarcastic and very, very cautious in many ways. But they're good friends and they kind of balance each other out. So they decide they're going to go on this road trip. So they go to one of these drive-away centres that you have in the US where, you know, you say, right, I want a drive-away car, and basically it gets you to where you're going and you just got to deliver the car when you get there. So they get this car and, you know, what they don't realise is there's some valuable goods in the boot of the car. So they go on this road trip of getting into all sorts of escapades, and there are some goons trying to track them down because they desperately want what is in the boot of their car. Right, what are my thoughts on Drive Away Dolls? There is definitely a certain level of charm to this film. It's got quite a familiar story, which is kind of its strength and its weakness in many ways. I mean, generally, this is a road movie, and you know we've seen more road movies like this before, where they need to give it a bit of edge or a bit of I don't know, interest. So they've put there's something in the boot of this car, so they're being chased by villains. We've seen this before in films similar to this, road movies, Twins, for example, but there are other examples, I'm sure. So it's quite a familiar story, you know, these two girls go on a road trip, and they're being chased by villains, and along the way they get into all sorts of different escapades while connecting as friends, and potentially more as the film goes on. Now, front and centre in this film is you've got Margaret Qualley, who she first came to my attention in the Good Guys, the Nice Guys, sorry, the Russell Crowe, Ryan Gosling film. It's one of my favourite films of all time. I just think it's outstanding, and she was in that film. That's the first time I saw her, and she's Andy McDowell's daughter. Since then, she's got an impressive body of work on her CV, and she's obviously a very, very talented actress. And she is very, very good in this film as well. Initially, she's a little bit too much. She's a bit in your face, a bit too loud, a bit too extrovert, a bit too honest, I suppose. But as the film progresses, her personality kind of grows on you, and you get to kind of quite enjoy her openness and honestness as the film goes on. And then you've got Geraldine Visvanthian's character, Marion, who she delivers another excellent performance here alongside Margaret Qualley, as this, you know, introvert person who is you know, also a lesbian, but she's not embracing it, if you like. She's not kind of enjoying herself. Margaret Qualley's trying to bring her out of a shell, sort of thing, so that she can kind of, you know, live life, enjoy it, you know, make love to whoever she wants when she wants, all that kind of stuff. And both these characters kind of blend together really, really nicely, and there's a good bond between them. But beyond that, there is nothing really to recommend about this film. you've got the positives that I've mentioned, which are the performances and there's some charm to it. You know, I quite like a good road movie as well. You know, they can be a lot of fun. You know, it's almost like there's a different adventure around every corner, sort of thing. You know, a different next town there could be a new adventure to kind of. I've always quite liked road movies, so there are definitely positives here. And there are a couple of chuckle moments in the film. As comedies go, though, it's not memorable. There's not memorable laughs here. It's not a laugh out loud type comedy, you know. If you like comedies like the recent Ricky Stenicki sort of thing, it's not that kind of comedy. If you're used to Ethan Coen type movies, then you know it's that kind of more subtle approach to the comedy. And then you've got like Pedro Pascal that's barely in the film. And then you've got Matt Damon, who's barely in the film. They don't really offer anything. To make it clear, the stars of this film, front and centre, is Margaret Qualley and Geraldine Visvanthian. They are the stars of this film, and this film absolutely allows them two actresses to shine here. There are a couple of memorable moments here. I mean, there is the ex-lover, Suki, played by Beanie Fieldstein, who is like, she's got anger issues. She's a cop as well. And she's quite a memorable character. She's probably arguably the funniest part of the film, I suppose. You know, she feels like she's been written to be funny, so you know she's definitely a comedic character. And there's a couple of other moments in the film where it's these two goons that are chasing them on this road trip. They're constantly bickering with each other, and they reminded me of those two goons from Pineapple Express. You know, them two heavies that were kind of chasing them in that film. They kept constantly bickering with each other. They reminded me a little bit of those two. From that movie, they were constantly bickering here in this movie with each other. So that was quite a nice dynamic, because they needed to give them something, because beyond that they would have been very, very dull characters indeed. So there are definitely moments here in this film that will raise a smile, and when you kind of discover what is in the boot of the car, it doesn't make any sense at all, but it definitely will raise a chuckle, I'm sure. So there are moments in this film where it can be sexy, it can raise a chuckle. There are some fun moments, some fun performances, but overall it's a very, very generic story, and it does this thing as well where it's the transitions from scene to scene is like it puts this psychedelic bollocks in there that don't make no sense at all to me. So there are times as well where you're just kind of scratching your head about some of the creative choices here. Is this a straight full-on comedy? No, it's not. It's a little bit more subtle in its approach. There are definitely some things here that are worth watching and recommending, but you also get the feeling that this film could have been so much more, because of its really quite generic characters and quite generic story. When you strip it all away, what's left really is the bones of a fairly basic story and fairly basic writing, and you can't really get away from that, regardless of how you want to kind of cover all that up and display it for the audience members. So yeah, not a bad film. It's not probably one I would recommend, but it's probably one of those I'd wait for Netflix or something like that before you check this one out. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this review. I'll be back with more reviews and content on the channel very, very soon.